you, everybody, for coming to the College Football Betting with Aaron Torres YouTube channel. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead, click that subscribe button. It helps our channel grow. It helps our audience grow. I appreciate it more than you know, as we're talking college football on this channel year-round. Appreciate your support. Click that subscribe button. Let me say this. Big Ten. I'm starting to get some SEC vibes out of the Big Ten. It just means more in the SEC. It's kind of the same in the Big Ten because, listen, you have some kind of cool stories and quiet behind-the-scenes stuff. You have Penn State sitting at 9-1. They play Purdue this weekend. Yeah, they're going to win that game. Also, on top of that, you have Indiana at 10-0. Great story. They're on a bye. But think about all the other noise coming out of some of the programs in this league. Michigan trying to throw a bag of cash at a five-star quarterback. Ohio State fans are big mad on the internet with all these noon kickoffs. And then you got Nebraska and USC. Chaos inside both programs, and they're playing this weekend at the Coliseum. 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time kickoff. It is on Fox. How about this? USC, an 8.5-point home favorite. The over-under set at 51.5. Listen, let's start with Nebraska, because Nebraska, to me, like Nebraska fans, if you see this, if you hear this, I apologize. It's been a struggle. We know that, but it felt like with Matt Rule, things were under control. Not too high, not too low, even keeled. We're going to stay calm. We're going to stay the course. And listen, I'm the guy that's guilty of in week 3, week 4, when Nebraska got out to that hot start saying, is this a fringe playoff contender? Like, can this team go 9-3-ish maybe and be in the playoff mix down the stretch? Well, that certainly has not happened. They've lost 3 straight coming into this game. And we all saw the big news off the field this week, which again is some big SEC vibes. Dana Holgorsen 2 weeks ago was brought in as an offensive consultant. And then we find out, oh no, he's actually the offensive coordinator. Marcus Satterfield essentially fired midseason. I know he wasn't actually fired, demoted. But Dana Holgorsen is in as the play caller at Nebraska. There were rumors that Dylan Raiola was unhappy, that Dylan Raiola might be transferring. This was to appease Dylan Raiola. Doesn't really matter, because the bottom line is Dana Holgorsen is in, and this offense does need to be better. And this team needs to be better. You know, you look at the last couple weeks, and the offense has just struggled immensely. I mean, you can really go back to really probably 4 or 5 weeks ago. I mean, you beat Rutgers 14-7, ugly win at home. That was your last win. Then you go into the Indiana game sitting at 5-1. All you need to do is get one win to get bowl eligible. You get destroyed by Indiana. You lose that close one to Ohio State. You have chances. You don't take advantage. And then 2 weeks ago against UCLA. I know UCLA is playing much better football over the last probably month or so. Want to give Deshaun Foster credit. But there was a lot of wrong from Nebraska late in that game. They made it into the red zone 3 separate times in the fourth quarter. They only got 1 touchdown out of it. And listen, I'm not here to pick on Dylan Raiola because I don't think it's his fault. I think a lot of it is on the play calling, but he is very clearly regressing. 14 of 27, 177 yards in that game. He got killed in the pocket. Okay. If you watch that game, he was getting destroyed. He was getting blown up. He had to come out for a series. He came back in for a series and tried to play and grabbed his back and immediately was pulled. The good news is Matt Rule says he's okay. The bad news is this offense has to get better. Also kind of worth noting, you go back to that Colorado game in week 2, and we think Nebraska has this incredible rush offense. Well, that rush offense has been non-existent, 101st in the country coming into this game. Good news for Nebraska. The defense has remained elite throughout the season. It is a team that is ranked in the top 20 nationally in scoring, or in total defense, and they have a very good run defense, top 20 in the country as well. Really, you take out the Indiana game a few weeks ago, they've actually played very well on defense. The offense has let them down, which is why Dana Holgorsen was brought in. So that's the chaos at Nebraska. Now let's get to the chaos at USC, where I'll tell you this, our week 1 Heisman winner, Miller Moss, we thought he was the next Caleb Williams and Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray after beating LSU in Vegas. Yeah, not so much. Miller Moss has gotten benched. And listen, we can blame Lincoln Riley for a lot of things, and he should take blame. They're sitting at 4-5, 15th place in the Big Ten right now. But listen, Miller Moss just simply was not good enough in the starting lineup. The last game that he played, 30 of 50 passing 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions against Washington. Again, I know that USC fans would say they're not running the ball enough. Lincoln Riley doesn't know what he's doing. I just don't think he believes in that O-line. Woody Marks has been good, but Miller Moss is out. Jaden Mayava is in. Of course, he is the transfer from UNLV. Listen, this is a call that USC fans have been wanting and asking for really months, and maybe not months, but weeks now. We don't know a ton. We'll see how he does. He, of course, again, transferred from UNLV, 17 touchdowns, did have 10 interceptions last year as a starting quarterback at UNLV. Is worth noting that he did have 300 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns for the Rebels last year. So he can kind of make plays with his legs a little bit better than Miller Moss, although I don't totally trust his accuracy. Now, what's concerning if you're a USC fan, I don't think this is getting talked about enough on a national scale, probably because USC just isn't good enough in general to be talked about on a national scale. But I bring it up because, listen, the defense, again, we had the week 1 Heisman winner in Miller Moss. We had the week 1 Broyles Award winner in D'Anton Lynn, the new defensive coordinator. Not blaming him. I don't think the roster is good enough. This defense is not good. This defense is not good. They have regressed. I think it's kind of jarring when you actually look at the statistics listen, they're relatively improved from last year, 72nd nationally in total defense. But the bottom line is they are not good, especially up front. You know that right now, USC, how about this? They currently rank coming into this game. They currently rank 98th in pass defense, 111th in sacks, 116th in TFLs, okay? So they're not getting after the quarterback. They're not getting to the quarterback. Dylan Raiola might actually have time to sit back in the pocket in this game. And so when I look at this game, I'll be honest, neither team has been great. I'm kind of stunned that USC is an 8.5-point favorite because when you look at it, think about Nebraska. Yes, they're 5-4. Yes, it's frustrating, but take out the Indiana game. This is a team that has been competitive in every game they've played, and even the losses have been close and could have gone either way. That Ohio State game, they lose by 4 points. Easily could have won that game. Not saying they should have, but easily could have. The UCLA game, I mentioned it. 2 trips to the red zone in the fourth quarter that resulted in 0 points. One of them, you had to play a backup quarterback. And so they've been close. They've been on the doorstep. By the way, a loss to Illinois in overtime. You easily could have won in regulation. I think you were up 14-0, something like that in that game. So it's not like Nebraska's getting blown out, and it's not like USC is the kind of team that is going to blow people out. Now, I will sort of defend USC on this. If you're looking for any reason to take USC, it does make sense. They do have 2 home games in which they've won big. They beat Wisconsin by 18 a few months back. That was early, like week 3, week 4. It might have been their Big Ten home opener. It wasn't their Big Ten opener. They did beat Rutgers a few weeks ago, a game that nobody attended because it was after game 1 of the World Series. So everybody in LA was watching the Dodgers and Freddie Freeman walk off against the Yankees. They did beat Rutgers convincingly. And I'd also say USC, a little bit like Nebraska, a lot of close games and games that could have gone their direction that didn't. You look at USC's losses by 3 to Michigan. If you stop them on the goal line, you win that game. By 7 to Minnesota. By 3 in overtime to Penn State in a game you led 20-6 at the half. Lose by 1 to Maryland. Lose by 5 at Washington. So you're back home. You're playing well. But I'll be real. I just think 8.5 is too much. I don't know if Daniel Holgorsen is the total answer. But again, Nebraska is not a team that has been getting blown out. And I do think that when you look at how Nebraska matches up, their ability to stop the run, I think they keep it close. I think they keep it competitive. And I'm not sold, by the way, that Jaden Mayava is the answer. Now, I think Lincoln Riley had no choice but to go to him after what Miller Moss has done. But I also think if he was clearly that good, they would have gone to him a lot earlier. So give me Nebraska plus the points. I think they can win outright. And listen, I mean, weird stuff's going to happen because neither of these teams is great. But this has the feel of a 3-point game either way. I'll say USC wins 27-24, but 8.5 points feels like way too many to me. Give me Nebraska to cover in this game.